Brande, happy December. Good to see you.
Nice to see you as well.
Thank you so much for saying yes and spending a few minutes with me. I am with Brande Martin, who is the Director of Digital Publishing for the American Medical Association. Brande, I can't imagine a more important, unless maybe it's Pfizer, the American Medical Association on Vaccine Day, and the role that you've played and your organization has played this year, right? In those things. But you and I were talking a little bit beforehand about but also the guiding of your staff and people through that. So tell us a little bit about 2020 and some of the challenges that you've had to overcome.
Sure. Well, as you have noted, working for the American Medical Association, we've been very busy through this year with the pandemic, of course, very unexpected for all of us. And, leading through a time of disruption, unplanned things there's an art and I guess a science to it. And I guess the challenges that, we faced were that, you start out, 2019, you had your roadmap as to what your team would be working on, what, all of the goals that you'd be laddering up to. And then everything changed for us. And being an organization where our main goals are really to produce materials for physicians, medical students, and residents, it became so important for us to pivot and to adjust what our goals were as an organization, which then ultimately meant I had to adjust the goals for my team so that we could begin delivering materials to help physicians and the frontline workers to try to understand what was going on with COVID. And it really turned into where for my team, I've always had a good team. We stay in good contact with each other. But what really also shifted is we were no longer in the office. So March, suddenly the organization said, you all will be working from home. And we've continued to work from home. And so that also was a new shift for us as well. So on top of having to produce a lot more material than we ever had produced before, we now were not with each other physically within the organization. But I have to say that being flexible and trying to think quickly and make decisions without being fearful if we're going to do something wrong was really important for us to be able to move forward. And so with us being working from home, and because I lead a team that's digitally focused, we, a bit more comfortable with the fact that we could work through the digital platforms to communicate with each other. The organization, I have to give AMA, obviously I'm biased, but I have to give them kudos for, from a senior leadership perspective, they pulled together and they put things in place that made it easier for all of the staff to be able to successfully work from home. And with my direct team, it became that, I used to always have, weekly meetings, and it shifted into we needed to have a daily meeting because things were changing so quickly with COVID that we needed those touch points. I was meeting on a very regular basis and continue to with my leaders so that we could work on the messaging and what we were going to deliver. And then working with my team, it became so important to have that communication channel open from the morning, but also it shifted into with the being able to now we use Microsoft Teams, being able to go to a chat really fast to talk with each other and communicate as things were changing. I told the team, let's just always make sure that we're communicating. If you're unsure of what you need to be doing because things are changing so rapidly, let's put a team chat together, contact me. And so I feel, interestingly enough, that we've become a closer team, even though we're not together in person, just because of trying to handle all the work at such a rapid pace. Go ahead.
No, it's so, the fact that you just said that we're closer, right? Working remotely than you have been. Do you think as we look at 2021, well, I guess what are the plans that you have for 2020 as you lead? And is what the camaraderie that's been built able to extend into 2021?
Yes, I think so, for certain. One of the other issues I want to bring up that happened in 2021, which continued to, I think, bring my team even closer together, related to, we're in Chicago, so we had a lot of civil unrest that was happening here. And that, on top of the COVID-19 anxieties, created an opportunity as well for me as a team leader to really be more empathetic. I think I was empathetic before, but it increased in terms of that. Sometimes I just said, our daily meeting, we're not really going to talk about work. We're going to talk about you if you want to share. Because I needed people to feel that they had a place, a safe space, because it brought, I think, all of what's happened to us with COVID and the civil unrest has brought more humanness to the workplace. Because people are dealing with a variety of different things. So giving the team that space to share how they were feeling particular days really continued to bond us. So into 2021, as I'm looking to putting plans together for the team, it's really continuing to have these touch points, continuing to reinforce that it's okay if you're having a hard day. And don't try to hide it and you're struggling with doing your work. Be open about it, because I really feel like mental and emotional wellness is key to actually being able to be successful in your job. So with those things for 2021, I just want to continue to have that open door policy with my team, allowing them to be their authentic selves. And with that, it allows me the opportunity to be able to adjust and pivot work as necessary based on each person's circumstance. It's also what I observed, and what happened is when somebody on the team knew another person was a little maybe down that day because they were just kind of struggling with the stressors, they rose to the occasion and said, I'll pitch in, I'll help you out. So I want to continue that type of experience when we go into 2021, because what I foresee, even though the vaccine has been authorized and are rolling out, we're still going to have a bumpy 2021 in terms of, what to expect. And I think this year just kind of primed, I think, everybody for the mindset of we have to be willing to adapt and pivot. And even though there's challenges, trying to find the silver lining as well. And so I think for 2020, as an AMA, we've had, if you want to look at it from a business perspective, we've had a lot of wins. And it sounds weird to say that, but it's much more from the perspective of delivering things to the frontline workers that have been helpful. So I view that as a win. And in 2021, we will continue to do that. I will continue to support my team in that way. And even also probably now, because of knowing the weirdness of this year, planning a few more things where it's maybe, from 3 to 5, we do a trivia time and just kind of step away from work. And having those type of touch points. We did it once this year and it went well. It seemed like everybody decompressed. So making a priority as part of my 2021 plan for the team is to have a few more of those touch points, and connect with some of our other teams as well to just, like I said before, bring that humanness into the workplace.
I'm going to end it there. That was perfect. I think the world needs a little more human, and I appreciate that very much. Brande, thank you. Happy holidays to you and your family. Thank you for what you did this year, you and your whole team, and look forward to seeing things in 2021.
Well, thank you for this opportunity, and happy holidays to you as well.
All right.